Hey guys, we're doing well today. So in today's video we'll talk the Wallabies versus France. So of course this is the first time that the Wallabies have played since the Rugby Championship, so it's been a very long time. And of course they have selected some new players from the squad, so we'll be able to see kind of new players stand out within the series itself. But I mean with France as well, they've selected a whole new squad in the sense where they've gone with a younger squad actually, with all of these players essentially playing within the All Nations. But at the same time it's one of those where they don't have their key players like the likes of Charles Albion as well as Roman Ntamack as well as Anthony Dupont. They have none of them, so it's one of those which they have definitely a weaker squad than normal. But at the same time, the French have a very good young core at the same time, so it's one of those which they will really give this Wallaby side a good challenge. So it's really one that I'm looking forward to a lot because I think this French squad really can challenge this Wallabies and actually getting a victory over the line. We'll have to wait and see. But of course, this game is being played within the Suncorp Stadium within Brisbane, so the Wallabies will have home advantage, which is a good thing for them. But at the same time, it's one of those which they'll have to kind of prove that they can obviously beat the best. But yeah, of course, we'll go over the Wallabies starting lineup first. So here is the Wallabies starting lineup. I'll run it by with you guys, tell you what I think about them, and of course afterwards I'll go over the France lineup as well. So of course with the Wallabies lineup, they have gone with the likes of James Slipper James Slipper at 1. They've gone with Brendan Pengamosa at 2, and of course Alan Otoa at 3. So I'd say a very good front row to say the least, and probably the front row I would have gone with, to be frank. It's one of those which I think most people would have said like, oh, where's Taniela Tupou? But at the same time, obviously he is on the bench, but he is more of an impact player in my opinion. He's probably one of the best impact players I think in world rugby. So for that reason I can understand why he's on the bench. And yeah, I think Alan Otoa is a great player at 3. Obviously he's the captain of the Brumbies and I think he had a great season for them. James Slipper again has a lot of experience within that position and obviously he's a very good scrummager, so should be no problem for him within that position. And of course Brendan Pengamosa has done very well for the Reds. Obviously was part of that Super Rugby AU win for the Reds. So yeah, should be very interesting to see how those three play together. But of course with the lock pairing, they have gone with the likes of Matt Phillip as well as Lachlan Saikai Loto. So yeah, very good pairing to say the least, and probably their best pairing in my opinion. I mean, you could have gone with maybe Darcy Swan, who I've been very impressed by within the Brumbies setup, but at the same time he is on the bench, so he will make an impact hopefully. And yeah, at the same time I think Matt Phillip's done pretty well for the Rebels, and as well as Saikai Loto for the Reds. Of course, for the loose forward trio, they have gone with the likes of Rob Valentini at 6. They have gone with Michael Hooper at 7, who of course is the captain, and at 8 they've gone with the likes of Harry Wilson. So, in my opinion, I think this is actually their actual best loose forward trio. I think it's perfect because they have one experienced player there with the likes of Michael Hooper, of course, who's a great player to have, very good within the breakdown, and of course a very good leader as well, so obviously that's for the reason why he's captain. I think Rob Valentini has done very well for the Brumbies this season, and yeah, he really stood out for them, in particularly within that 6 spot, so I think for that reason he should be the number 6 in my opinion for the Wallabies, and happy to see they've put him within that place. And of course Harry Wilson has just been sensational to watch for the Reds, so yeah, I can understand definitely why he's been selected at that number 8 position compared to other players. But yeah, very happy with that loose forward trio for sure. So anyway, moving on to the backs for the Wallabies. So of course at number 9 they have gone the likes of Jake Gordon ahead of the likes of Tate McDermott as well as what's the other one, Nick White, of course not being in the setup. So yeah, very happy with Jake Gordon. He's done very well actually for the Waratahs, and he's probably their only standout player to be perfectly honest, so I can understand why he's been selected. I mean, at number 10, they have gone with the likes of Noah Laseo, so that does mean that James O'Connor is still out, but at the same time, Noah Laseo is a great player to have, and he's a young, up-and-coming 10 who really can make a difference for this Wallabies squad. So yeah, really excited to see him play. Of course, with the centre combination, they have gone with the likes of Hunter Pasami as well as Matt Tamua. So very good combination to say the least. Obviously, Matt Tamua is able to play 10 or 12, and he's similar to Owen Farrell in that sense, where he's very versatile in those 2 positions. But yeah, he's a great player. Obviously, he had I'd say an average season to be perfectly frank with the Rebels, but at the same time, he's a great player to have and very versatile. So yeah, Hunter Pasami of course is a battering ram, is great player to have, and he's a very good player in linking up and kind of creating spaces within the defense. So yeah, great player to have and good duo right there. Of course, with the wingers, they have gone with the likes of Tom Wright as well as Marika Corbetti. So yeah, great combination in the sense where Marika Corbetti is more of a battering ram on the 11 spot, and yeah, should do a lot of damage within that section. And of course, Tom Wright is a decent 14, very reliable. He's very similar to George Bridge, if that's a comparison you want to make, how he always gives you at least a 7 out of 10 performance every time he plays. So he's obviously a solid player to have in your team. Of course, with the last player, they have gone with the likes of Tom Banks, who in my opinion is still the best fullback Australia still has to offer. I mean, you do have the likes of Jack Malanks as well as what's his name? the Reds, they have an up-and-coming guy, Campbell, I believe, or Flock. It's one of them two. But I still think Tom Banks is still the number one option. So I'm very happy to see him in there. And he's very good at finding spaces within the defense. So yeah, definitely my one-to-watch player, I'd say, within this game for the Wallabies. But anyway, moving on to the French lineup. So obviously here is the France lineup. So I'll run it by you guys now. I'll tell you what I think about it. And of course, I will give my prediction of this game right afterwards. So of course, with the France lineup, they have gone with obviously a younger squad, which I have said many times. You know, they have gone with the likes of Baptiste at 1, Bola at 2, and of course Bamba at 3. So I'd say a very good combination to say the least, but Bamba obviously being the most experienced in that one. You know, Baptiste and Bola haven't had too much game time, I'd say, for this France squad, but at the same time, very happy, you know, obviously for them to have a step up in that sense. Baptiste is he's a good prop as well, so it should be a good duo for them and really should challenge, I'd say, that Wallaby front row for sure. I mean, Bola, I'll be perfectly honest, I wouldn't say I'd say he's probably the third choice hooker for the French team. So hopefully, you know, this is just a good opportunity for him really to, you know, to stamp his mark essentially. But yeah, with the lock pairing, they have come with the likes of, you know, Garisi as well as Tofluena. So Tofluena is a very good lock in my opinion, really good lock for the French, and he really stood out for them, I'd say, within the Six Nations as well as you know, automations beforehand. So yeah, very good lock to have, and really. He's probably my one-to-watch player, I'd say, for the French. I mean, he's just outstanding to watch. But yeah, he's a great player, obviously, for the French, and yeah, should do a lot of damage within that, you know, within the lineouts as well as the scrum. So of course, with their back row, with obviously with the loose forwards, they have gone with the likes of, you know, Citron at 6. They have gone with the likes of Genoa at 7, who of course is the captain and obviously replacing Oblion at that place. And of course, they have gone with the likes of Makalou at 8. So he's a very good player to watch. And actually, now I'm actually changing my mind. He actually might be my one-to-watch player, I'd say, within this game. He's just a great player to have, and obviously he's a standout player really for this French squad. And he reminds me. He has some qualities of what Dusautois and what he had previously within 2011. So there's a bit of qualities that they both have the same of. So I'm really looking forward to what Makalou can really do for that French squad at number 8. But anyway, moving on to the back line, of course, for the French. So with the number 9 and 10 spot, they have gone with the likes of, you know, with Corbenel not Corbenel. They have gone with the likes of Couliard as well as Corbenel at the 9 and 10 spot. So a very good combination to say the least. I mean, Corbenel is a very good 10 option, and he did pretty well, I'd say, within Six Nations as well. So he's a good option to have. I mean, with their centres, they have gone with the likes of Dante as well as Vincent. So obviously, Arthur Vincent is a great centre to have. He's obviously was very crucial towards France, towards the you could say back end of the Six Nations campaign for them. But at the same time, still a very solid option to have. I mean, with their wingers, they have gone with the likes of Penard at 14, and then obviously Villeray at 11. So again, I'd say another good combination, I'd say, for this French squad. And yeah, at 15, obviously, they have gone with the likes of Jamet. So again, I'd say another solid player really for this French squad, and really is getting his, you could say, his opportunity finally to stand out for this French squad, because he hasn't really had many chances to actually play for them. So yeah, really looking forward to see what he can do, and obviously against the Wallabies. Yeah, other than that, should be, and that's kind of it with the lineups. But if I had to actually say who wins this game, it's a tough one, because you would assume the Wallabies could do it, but I think I have to say Wallabies. But I wouldn't be surprised if this French squad, you know, gives them, you know, a scare. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But I do think the Wallabies should win this, and I think it'll be a closer game than what most people predict. So for that reason, I'm going to say the Wallabies will only win this game by, say, 10 points. So for that reason, I'll say the Wallabies win this game. I'll say 27 points to 17. Yeah, 27 points to 17 is my final prediction for this game. But other than that, just hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.